Hey everybody, happy Wicked Wednesday and welcome to Shivers. Within my passion for horror and the freaky origins of some of our favorite stories, a deeper layer to that is the lore and the folklore that stems from past experiences, sightings, creatures, storytelling, etc. Today we're focusing on one aspect of folklore, which is the siren or the mermaid. Mermaids, different than Chupacabra or Bigfoot, which actually stem from folklore, mermaids stem from mythology. One of the earliest mermaid legends appeared in Syria around 1000 BC when the goddess Atargis dove into a lake to take the form of a fish. As the gods there would not allow her to give up her great beauty, only her bottom half became a fish, and she kept her top half in human form. She then watched over the fertility of her people, as well as their general well-being. She too was human above the waist and fish below, and accordingly associated with water. The Syrians bestowed Atargis with the biggest, most resplendent temple they could build, which came complete with a pond of sacred fish that would collect and eat money and coins. This is where the tradition of throwing coins into a small pond came for good luck. The great Roman naturalist Pliny the Elder wrote of the Nereids. These were nymphs we'd recognize as half human, half fish mermaids, though the portion of the body that resembled the human still has lots of scales and rough figures all over it. Pliny noted that Letargus of Gaul once wrote to Emperor Attagus, claiming he found a considerable number of them dead upon the seashore. Pliny also mentioned sea people who, when night falls, climb up onto ships, upon which the side of the vessel where the boat would instantly sink downward, and if they remained there any considerable time, the boat would go underwater with them. Such maliciousness is echoed in the sirens that are seen in Greek mythology, which variously were presented as beautiful women as mermaids. These fiends would lure men to the depths with some very sexy singing. And Odysseus, in mythology, was a victim of this. He had his men strap him to the ship's mast to avoid falling victim as they passed the island where the sirens were supposed to be, while his men plugged their ears with wax. This is also why many pirate ships and older ships that we see have carved people tied to the front of the boat. These were meant to be distractions for the sirens to stare at and target. Mermaids then entered European mythology with conflicting personalities. Some of them were portrayed as beautiful, seductive maidens, almost goddess like Atargis, greatly desired by lonely sailors, while also being cast as siren-esque beasts that dragged these men into the black depths of the ocean. Whatever the portrayal, mermaids wound their way deep into nautical lore in the Middle Ages and onward. A 16th century writer whose map Carta Marina catalogued the many monsters of the seas around Scandinavia, noted that fishermen believed that if you reel in a mermaid or a merman and do not presently let them go, such a cruel tempest will arise, and such a horrid lamentation of that sort of men comes with it, and of such other monsters start joining with them. Sea people, it was widely held, were terribly bad luck to see or snag when fishing or swimming. The number of mermaid sightings exploded as the Age of Discovery kicked off, as men in boats made their way around the world. John Smith of Pocahontas caught sight of one of the mermaids around Newfoundland in 1614, noting that her long green hair imparted her to an original character, but was no means attractive. And in 1493, the expedition of Christopher Columbus sighted the mythical mermaid near what is now the Dominican Republic. Columbus wrote in his diary, the day before, when the admiral was going to the Rio del Oro, he said he saw 3 mermaids who came quite high out of the water, but were not as pretty as they are depicted, for somehow in their faces they looked like men. Today, there's even a website dedicated to collecting and revealing how many mermaid sightings happen around the world in real time. There's a huge number of sightings around Scotland, which may also have something to do with the Loch Ness Monster, which is also located there. The marine experts of the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, say that no mermaids have ever been found in the ocean, but we've only fully mapped, about 1/4 of the ocean floor. According to them, there are probably between 700,000 and 1 million different kinds of plants and animals in the ocean. So the likelihood of merpeople swimming amongst them are pretty huge. That concludes our talk today on mermaids and sirens. Hopefully you're a little bit more cautious and careful when you're going and swimming and looking for these beautiful or not so nice creatures, depending on how you look at it. There are a ton of scary videos on TikTok that show the mermaids swimming next to boats, the sounds far off in the distance that sound like sirens, actual sirens and mermaids. But they're creepy videos, but I think that they're really worth watching. So go check that out if you want to know more. I am also planning on teaching a folklore class that dives deeper into mermaids, sirens, the chupacabra, wendigos, all of these types of creatures that we've heard about before. So please join my meetup page or Facebook page to see this event coming soon. And as always, thank you for listening. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.